Oh no, knew that was gonna happen. Hey, welcome back to the Orange Tree Homestead. Today we're going to be planting some avocado trees. It's the middle of October. We just got through a brutal heat wave, so now is the perfect time to plant these trees. Nice hazy morning, overcast morning, so not too much sun out, so this will be a great time to get into this. Now before we get to the planting sites, I want to first talk about what we've got here. So we're going to start right here. This is a Hass avocado in a 15-gallon. Right next to it is another Hass that we've already planted. And I'm going to show you some comparisons here. So this thing is about 5 feet, maybe a little taller at the highest. This was planted last January, so January of 2020. And this thing has excellent growth. So that's about 5 and change. This is also 5. The difference is this one's bushed out really well and it's got great growth. Why is that? That's because after planting this was topped. I don't know how well you can see it, but this was topped right there at about 3 feet. It was topped. That allowed it to bush out and branch out and get this nice growth. So that's just to show you a comparison of a 15-gallon unplanted versus a 15-gallon planted about 10 months later. Just thought it's interesting comparison. Over here, this is a 5-gallon Fuerte avocado. Couldn't find this in a 15-gallon, just a 5. My thoughts on the situation are I tend to go for a 15-gallon if I can find it, because you're getting a jump head start and you're going to get to fruiting that much quicker. And the fruits, avocado is very valuable fruit, so I like to take that head start. You're going to pay more money. This was about 105, I think, and this was 40. So you do pay more, but for me it's worth it. Not planting 50 of them, so it doesn't add up too quick. But this is a Fuerte in a 5-gallon, and this is a variety that will give fruit at a different part of the year than the Hass. I believe there's a little overlap, but let's see. This will give November to June, so you can harvest this through the winter and spring. I believe these Hass usually give you fruit spring through fall or early winter, so I want to overlap there on being able to get avocado year-round. Fuerte variety, my research on it is that it can be a bit of a gamble on how much it's going to fruit. Some of them go 5-6 years, don't ever produce any fruit, but some of them do, so it's a gamble. They're said to do better next to other avos. If you're familiar with the A and B type of avocados, this is an A, these are Bs. That should help. But I'm willing to take the gamble because I want harvest all year round. That really sounds cool to me. And these things grow fast, that's why it's called Fuerte. Fuerte in Spanish means strong. So this should be a strong grower. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't give us fruit in 3 to 5 years, we could cut it down and start over, or just have a nice looking ornamental. So now that we've gone over that, let's go ahead and get into the sites where we're going to be planting these. Okay, so I've got my planting sites marked out now. Just going to do a quick walk around and you guys can see where these are going. So there's the lemon tree. We're going to fill this gap here. The Hass will go there. There's the planted Hass. There's the Fuerte. So just going to do a walk around in a full 360. So these are both 7 feet from the fence railing. That'll give them a nice base, 6 foot out, plus a foot to walk by. You could have a 12-foot canopy that way. It's a little close to this lemon, but I'm not too worried about them touching. I don't think it'll hurt anything, and I can always trim back this lemon. And by the way, I just want to take a moment to appreciate this lemon. Look how much friggin' fruit is on this thing. This thing is just loaded producing fruit. It's really crazy how much is on here for how beat this thing is. Look how haggard this thing is. So I guess we could say, don't give up on an old beat up tree. Give it some love, and I think it'll treat you kindly. I mean, just look how stacked that is. That's crazy. All right, we're off on a tangent. So there's the top one. There's the lower one. We're 7 feet off the fence. I'm just gonna do full 360 now. There's the coop back there and all the raised beds. Berry land right behind us. The goal here is to fill these gaps so that we get more privacy from the road. So this lot is not private at all. So we're just trying to close it in a little bit and gain some privacy. It's just nice to be in your yard and have a little more closed in. Each of these is about 10 to 11 feet from the trunk of the already planted one, so it's fairly symmetrical. I didn't get too crazy with the engineering here, but yeah, each of them has about an equal space to that one. And you know, this doesn't have to be perfect. Avocados don't grow perfect anyways, so their canopies are always a little lopsided. Then there's down to the orchard there. So anyways, that's where we're gonna be planting them. And we'll go ahead and now get started on prepping the holes. All right, so now we are ready to plant. Went the depth of the pot plus some, not quite double, but a lot down. And then about double the width or circumference. And then what I did was backfilled a lot of that in and broke it all up. I got that tiller in there, broke it all up and loosened it. And the reason I filled in so much back is because we're gonna plant this above level so that it has a better drainage. So yeah, we are ready to drop her in now. This thing is super heavy. All right, so if we put it in there, we'll be 5 inches over the level. I think I'll go just a little lower. I'll go like 3 inches over level. Now we're not gonna amend this soil at all. Didn't do that on the first one, no problems at all. It's actually pretty good soil. It's just hardened up a little bit from the how dry it is, but it's actually not bad once you break it up. There's some other soil on the property that's just really, really bad clay that you get nowhere with a regular shovel. So just the fact that I'm able to get this deep with a regular shovel means it's not that bad of soil. So I'm not gonna amend it at all. And yeah, so we're gonna bring this down a little bit more. All right, so we got dirt out. Now I think we're just gonna send it. Nice and careful, pull this sucker up. It's very heavy. I'm gonna loosen up the roots. They're a little root bound from the pot, of course. Gently loosen them up. Oh yeah, it's real bound over here. So nice and easy. Just gonna help them get out there and search for the water and the nutrients. Yeah, this thing's a lot of root bound in there. All right, so that'll help. All right, I don't know that there's any specific way I want it in. Sometimes you have a better branch or a side you want to face a certain way. I'm gonna send it like this. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we are just barely over level, and I like that. It'll just have a little bit improved drainage. I haven't had any problems with water logging on the other Haas avocado, so I'm not super worried about it. So now I'm just gonna backfill with my loose soil, the loosest soil I have, which is this pile here that I pulled out is really loose because it was the tilled up part. Just gonna fill around evenly. I'm not doing anything fancy here, not adding any nutrients or fertilizer or anything. I'm just gonna put him in his environment, or her, call her a her, and let her get used to it. Let her send out roots to look for water and nutrients. Don't want her getting lazy. If you feed her right now, she may just sit in there and stew in her own little spot because she's got everything she needs. So we don't want that. We want her out looking. So yeah, this is a shovel width of extra room here, so that it's already pre-loosened so that the roots can make their moves out and look for more water, nutrients, etc. It's gonna give them a head start. If you don't do that, they'll just run into a wall. You'll put them in the exact size of this, that just runs into a hard wall. It doesn't do as well. Just lightly tamping down the edges, getting the air pockets out, not too hard. We're like almost there. It's gonna even out some soil, fill in some little gaps here. All right, that one is in. Later I can do a trough and berm around it. When you're doing gray water, it's good to do that to contain everything in a basin. It's good to do that regardless, even if you don't do gray water. But I may do that later, we'll see. You know, our gray water, because there's so many plants on it, it doesn't surge huge. This thing's never gonna get like 20 gallons at a time, like some might if you just ran a washer machine to like 3 plants or something. So I may go do that later, but for now we're good. Next, what I'm going to do is give this a water because the sun is out. I don't want it too much shock, so you're going to go ahead and water it now and then move on to the next one. And then real quick, let's talk about the staking. So this is 5 foot tall. It's got to have a stake on it or it'll just flop over. Can't pull the stake on a tree this age. These things are floppy and leggy. So that's why we're gonna top it about here. Not now, we're gonna let it get over the transplant shock, then we will top it. Once you top it at around 3 feet, you just pull the stake. It doesn't even need it anymore because it's got enough to hold everything in there. If you don't top these, I mean, heck, even if you do, it can still do that. If you don't care for your avocados, they can go 40, 50, 60 feet. So that's why they just shoot so high. You got to stake them off the beginning. They'll just go so leggy. So anyways, we're going to water this and move on to the next one. All right, so we gave the Haas a nice drink. Now we're going to get the Fuerte in the ground. Got some shade coming from the orange tree over here. So hopefully this one will be a little better. Because man, it went from perfect planting weather to hot in about 15 minutes. Oh no, knew that was gonna happen. Well, that was annoying because that's my good shovel. Got my backup here. And that was user error. Put way too much force. Easter egg hunt. Alright, so same thing as last time. About double the depth of the pot. Loosen it up really well, tilled it with the tiller again, and double the width roughly So now we're ready to go, same thing as before. I'm gonna check for root find. This thing's real loose actually. Oh my gosh, look at that. So I'm just gonna get it in quick before it falls apart. Flies everywhere. All right, yeah, it's lower than I want, so I'm just gonna feather some dirt back in. Get a little dirt around the sides and then just pull it up. And that dirt will fall under it. Oh boy, we're losing it. This is getting sketch. Alright, the root ball is falling apart basically, so you're gonna have to be careful. Let me get the shovel under it. I'm going way under it, not to get roots. Just pop it up a little. Oh gosh. Alright, we're still a little lower than I want, so we're gonna feed some more dirt in. Okay. Chop that a little bit more. Alright, so we're gonna put it around. We're gonna lift. Alright, that should be good. So maybe a ½ an inch more. So basically we're just sitting now. We're not even in a hole, we're just sitting, which is fine. Now we'll backfill around it. Get some of these big clods out of the way. Yeah, this will be fine. I'm not worried. I think it'll be fine. Okay. I'm gonna keep backfilling. Alright, so she's in. The shade made this one a lot nicer thanks to the orange tree. We're gonna give her a drink. Then I'm gonna eat lunch, come back, hook the 2 new trees up to the GREYWATER system. Now while I'm eating lunch, in the meantime, what I need you to do is smash the subscribe button. Go ahead and click subscribe, like the video, and remember, next to the subscribe button, there's a bell you can push. If you push that bell, you will get an email every time we upload a video. So yeah, go ahead and take care of that. I'm gonna water her, get some food, and we're almost at 50 subscribers. So once we get there, I'm gonna drop the long-awaited full GREYWATER tour video over 40 to 50 different plants on one GREYWATER system. So let's get to 50 and I'll drop that for you guys. And I'll see you in a minute here after lunch.